This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted, as always, to be joined by Russian matchmaker, manager, promoter, boxing aficionado, Al Siesta. Al, how are you?
I'm very good, bro. I'm very, very good, man. A bit tired, but I'm rocking.
Why are you tired? You're always doing something.
Lots of work, brother. Lots of last 24 hours been incredible. Lots of change. Some COVID tests positive. Arranging the shows, Russia, Ukraine, Czech Republic, all sorts of stuff going on. But it's all brilliant, all brilliant. I always find a way, you know it.
So what have you got? What have you got going on, Al? You're always somebody who has many irons in the fire, so to speak. What have you got going on?
A few things. I don't really want to give it away quickly because I will be announcing next week few fights I've made, very good ones. As I've promised on Twitter to boxing fans, watch out for the announcements. They are coming very shortly. So all good, man, all good.
You're teasing us.
Yeah, I'm a teaser.
You certainly are a teaser.
Renowned teaser in Southampton.
Yeah, I bet you. Before we come on to this weekend's heavyweight bout between Alexander Povetkin and Dillian Whyte, just want to speak to you about a fight that we spoke about on the Boxing Social podcast, a fight that you had an involvement in. Dimitri Bivol and Craig Richards has just been announced, finalized for the Derek Chisora Joseph Parker undercard. Lots of people, myself included, I guess, have Dimitri Bivol as a significant favorite in that fight. I'm guessing you're no different in that regard.
Yeah, Dimitri is favorite, but Craig comes to fight, and that's why it makes it interesting. I mean, he will not be lying down. He'll try his hardest. You know, Craig Richards will always try. So that's the important aspect of that. That's why when that fight kind of sprang to my mind, and I thought, you know what, Craig Richards sounds like an underdog, that come and give it his own, all of it, all he's got. So I thought it's a great matchup. It's probably competitively priced championship, which is brilliant for Matchroom. Thanks to Al Siesta, by the way. You know my account number.
While we're sticking with Dimitri Bivol, he's not been very active in a while. He hasn't boxed since he boxed Lenin Castillo. We saw we saw Artur Beterbiev in action recently. It also kind of had a significant layoff. How important is it for Dimitri Bivol in this instance to get some good rounds under his belt and really start chasing those big stellar names?
Yeah, it's very important because if Bivol comes through Craig Richards, I think Russians will make that fight. Beterbiev against Bivol is an all great Russian affair, and the budgets are there. The arenas are there, the infrastructure. So I think it will be really, really good. Great summer showdown, you know. I'll be there, definitely. If that's... Do you want to come?
I'll definitely come. If
we're going.
Beterbiev in Russia, I'll be there.
We're going 100%. I mean, we're not looking past Craig Richards because you never know. So I'm wishing Craig Richards all the best, you know. He can give him good opposition, I think. What did I make of him?
Of Artur Beterbiev this past weekend return to action. A few people saying that they maybe started to see some signs of him slipping. Of course, he's not boxed in a while, so ring rust is always a factor. What did you make of his performance?
I have quick counter question to you. What did you think of Adam Dines?
I thought he was game. Thought he came and had a go, but ultimately was outgunned and outclassed overall. Yeah. I felt like he came and he did okay, had a good effort.
That's what it looked like, correct?
Mm-hmm.
He's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Dines, incredible fighter. Ask Joe Gallagher, ask Callum Smith, ask Myris Bredis. I had him in the camp a few times. He's absolute game, can punch, good mover, great timing, and still he looked slightly pedestrian against Beterbiev. That tells you all about levels. Dines was prepared very well and still semi-prepared Beterbiev because I know he had loads of rendezvous with Russian Boxing Federation, talking to various PR people, funders, government officials. So I think that camp was interrupted, not to mention COVID. He started camps 3 times and had to abandon it. Knowing all that circumstances, fantastic performance by Artur Beterbiev because Adam Dines can really fight, you know. So it's a good fight. Good fight.
You don't think there's any signs of slipping from Beterbiev?
None. I just know how good Adam Dines is. You know what I mean? So Adam Dines is a nightmare for anyone. Joshua Buatsi, any breed. I mean, Callum Johnson. You put anyone against him, and it will be super, super competitive, massively.
What do you make of Bivol versus Beterbiev? Do you think that's a closer fight than it was a few years ago now because of Beterbiev's age?
Yeah, it is closer fight. I mean, look, Bivol never would shy away from this fight. I mean, Bivol would have taken it 5 years ago. Definitely. I mean, but yeah, it's a really, really good fight. Different styles, and knowing Bivol's acumen and ring IQ. I mean, Beterbiev just want to kill you. Listen, Beterbiev does it because this is his temperament. It doesn't mean he can't box. He's a really good boxer as well. I mean, if someone comes so superior, like someone like Benavides or Canelo, you will see Beterbiev in completely different light. There's a next level to his game because he knows he's very physical and very heavy-handed. He just tries to walk through everyone. He fights. But when he feels few punches, I mean, with Callum Johnson, we saw it. He's suddenly kind of gone a bit different, gone cuter. Do you remember that? He's gone a bit cuter. So with Bivol, it's a really, really good fight. I don't even know how I fancy in that fight because Bivol is really good and Beterbiev. But I do believe Bivol got granny chin, by the way. Really, really hard to get dropped because he can hold the punch. So it should be very interesting. Very interesting.
Okay, moving away from there.
From Russians.
Well, onto another Russian. Alexander Povetkin, a heavier Russian, against Dillian Whyte this weekend, heavyweight rematch. Now, you were very outspoken in the build-up to the first fight, and you predicted an Alexander Povetkin stoppage win. Any changes this time around?
Rob, I saw Dillian Whyte yesterday, and I've been observing them for the last few weeks. Do you know what? I feel so guilty. I feel so guilty because it looks almost like I'm a Russian bully living in the UK, picking on the Afro-Caribbean British fighter. It just like sounds stupid because I read all these comments saying, oh, look at this bloke. Guys, seriously, I just know how good Povetkin is and how much of a devastation Whyte received in the first fight. So much pressure on the poor bloke. So much pressure. Bookies again put in favorite. That's disgrace. It's just he's getting stopped again. I can't really see anything else. You know, it's just like yesterday, I'm seeing this Matchroom kind of production, the Matchroom media. By the way, well done, guys. Fantastic. I mean, for boxing connoisseurs, it looks really good and is interesting. It's not boring. And I'm looking at Dillian, and there's a cognitive change in him. I can see it clearly from his pad work, as a hesitation. Whole world expects him to put it right. How much more pressure do you want to put on the bloke who's been heavily knocked out? And Povetkin, by the way, now you understand what I've been talking about. He's fresh. He is fresh. So I would pull Dillian out of this fight today. Seriously. I just don't feel well, and tell you why. Just I feel guilty because I hope he can beat Povetkin. And people say, oh, Siesta, brilliant, I'll take it any time of day. All I want for these guys to come out healthy at the end of it, and Dillian try to put it right. By so much pressure. This is the definitive moment to see if he can deal with it. But the merits of that, he goes into other rematch after the heavy knockout, with the entire world looking at him. It's a pay-per-view in the UK when there's a pandemic and not much happening. Serious test. And I wish him all the best, massively. All he needs to do, I'll give him the game plan very quickly. Be quite careful, use that jab heavily, and try to prolong it and take Povetkin to the next stage, to the longer, to the deeper end of the fight. Second half. No rushing, no being hot-headed, because we know what's going to happen. And that's the situation. I feel a bit guilty. I mean, Dillian, you know we had great relationship before my outspokenness. I haven't spoken about you as a human being, by the way. I spoke about you as a heavyweight fighter. And I fancied Povetkin. And I continue doing that. But it doesn't diminish you as a person, by the way, if you take it personally, you know?
Oh, you're very close to World of Boxing, Andrei Rubinski. You know the ins and outs, or you know certainly more than a lot of people about what the goings on in camp and what have you. A lot of people are talking about Alexander Povetkin and his recovery from COVID-19. He was hospitalized with COVID-19. What's the update that you have on that? What's his health situation as far as you're aware?
Andrei Rubinski, under no circumstances, would allow Alexander Povetkin to travel if they would have felt that he's not 100%. So you get good Povetkin there in Gibraltar. I look at him, he looks fresh, he looks trimmed. Usual Povetkin, usual 41 years old, ex-Olympic champion who's ready to fight on the pay-per-view event of Matchroom Boxing. That's what it looks like. You know? So I'm expecting something special, lots of confidence from Povetkin, lots of demons possessing Dillian Whyte in the beginning because he has to make so many choices at the same time, so many different pressures. I mean, he needs neuro-linguistic programming urgently just to say that the most important thing is genuinely him breathing as all of us. And whatever happens, there will be another day. He can walk away from it after the fight and live very happy life. The world doesn't collide on it, doesn't bank on it, all or nothing. It don't exist. So Whyte needs to put that behind and try to fight his best. You know, I hope they will support him.
In the first fight, Dillian Whyte obviously scored those 2 knockdowns in the 4th round. In a lot of people's eyes, he was heavily on top in that fight before being caught with the left uppercut. What does Dillian Whyte need to do differently? You mentioned about the jab, but what does Povetkin need to change anything from the first fight? He's come out from his own accord and said that he feels that he's needed to tighten up that defense. What do you think we should see from both of them on Saturday night?
Another little clue. The reason that Alex got caught with 2 flush knockdowns because he was a proactive fighter and Dillian was a reactive fighter. Now all Povetkin needs to do is to be an assessor, assess the situation. Let Dillian be a proactive fighter and be a reactive fighter, because certainly he will find that combo or that opportunity to lay that sting. Do you know what I'm saying? So potentially it could be a stinker if Povetkin will be cautious. But knowing Povetkin's temperament comes the moment when he will try to force the issue. You know, more accurate this time. So that's what I'm saying is a massively difficult job for Dillian Whyte. Massively. You know?
If Dillian Whyte comes through and defies, well, certainly your odds or your way of thinking on the fight, is he ready then to go on and challenge for a world title in your eyes, albeit obviously having to get through on Saturday night?
He has been ready to challenge for the world title for a very, very long time. I don't know why he didn't take Anthony Joshua fight with all the belts on the line pretty much by the WBC. That was a great opportunity. And by the way, for Dillian Whyte, knowing that he's fighting fellow Brit, it would have been an easier fight psychologically than going with this Eastern European beast. Now he found himself in a super difficult circumstance, and he comes through. He fully deserves every single shot that is out there. Absolutely. I fully agree. Part of me really wants to support him on Saturday because I really want to see him. I mean, let's leave my Russianness aside. I really want him to do well. You know what? Something tells me, guys, don't think I'm crazy. It could be a draw.
What gives you
Do you
that?
know? I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, I look at the draws, it's 40-1, and it's just something drawy about this. I don't know why. But anyway, you know?
That's provided it goes to the scorecards, which
yes,
do you think it goes to the scorecards?
Possible. Could be quite messy, competitive. I mean, look, either Povetkin get into Dillian or is such a stinker that I might go to the scorecards and get drawn.
Okay.
You know?
And
I can't really see. Sorry.
That's okay. Go on, you carry on.
No, you talk. Sorry. No, I lost them. I lost
all I was
anyway.
going to say was, if you were a gambling man, which I know you're not, but if you were, what outcome would you be betting on this weekend?
Alexander Povetkin stoppage within 8, a draw, Dillian Whyte points.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the 3 I would exercise. Alexander Povetkin stoppage number 1, 60%. There's a 30% of a draw for some reason in me, and it's a 10% of Dillian Whyte points win.
No stoppage for Dillian Whyte?
Possible, but only due to an injury or something very unusual.
Okay.
Not because that was masterminded and he stopped Povetkin with a heavy blows. No, injury, elbow, knee, all sorts of stuff. That kind of stuff, you know. This is some sort of really sniff of some weird controversy in that fight. But overall,
there's always a sniff of something weird and controversial when you're around, Al.
I hope that's a positive connotation of my presence.
Right, Al, before I let you go, one fight that I'd like your opinion on, somebody that you know well from the last time Luther Clay boxed, Chris Congo fighting Michael McKinson, somebody else who I know that you would have kept a close eye on in your various roles as manager and matchmaker. What do you think to that fight?
No, both guys very well. Mike McKinson, good friend. Luther sparred numerous hours against Mike McKinson. Awkward, intelligent, not Luther Clay, will not be forcing the issue by any stretch of imagination. Very reactive fighter. So Chris Congo has to be proactive, which he likes. He was very cautious with Luther Clay. He knew he doesn't need to look for Luther. Luther will find himself. He's going to bring him to the table. You know? So potentially another semi-stinker. 65-35 to Chris Congo, maybe.
You like your percentages today, don't you?
Yeah, something like this. Potentially could be late stoppage. Not sure, can't really see it. Actually, I'm talking shit. Points victory for Chris Congo. Maybe late stoppage.
Okay, well, we will see on Saturday night live and exclusive from Gibraltar on Sky Sports pay-per-view and I think DAZN worldwide. But yeah, Al, always a pleasure catching up. I'm sure I'll speak to you before long, but it's always good to get your breakdowns ahead of the big fight. So thanks very much for speaking to me in Boxing Social, and I'm sure I will catch up with you soon.
Brother, thank you. Likewise, looking forward to speaking to you after the fight. Dillian Whyte, I wish you luck from the bottom of my heart, for real.